Hey everybody, Ben here from the Bonehead podcast, and we've got more Blood Bowl news. So the Chaos Dwarf team has been previewed. We've seen one star already, the big bull centaur himself. Now we're seeing the second star that's going to come and land in the next Spike magazine. And guess who's back? Backstabber is back. RASHNAK Backstabber, the Hobgoblin assassin, is back in Blood Bowl. And over on the Warhammer community, in standard Warcom fashion, you got to kind of dig and refresh the page. But this delightfully devious Hobgoblin star player backstabs with the best of them. RASHNAK Backstabber has two knives, and he knows how to use them. So let's have a look at the Warcom article. The Chaos Dwarves have arrived from the Dark Lands, ready for their fieriest throwdowns imaginable, and perhaps even to score a touchdown or two in the process. Naturally, there's a bevy of star players to join them, including the incomparable and unpronounceable Hthark the Unstoppable. Their second star player is a Hobgoblin with a surprisingly fearsome reputation, RASHNAK Backstabber. He made a name for himself as an informant in a forge exposing thieves, though many claimed they had been encouraged to help themselves by him mere moments before apprehension. Alright, fine. A little bit too real world for me there, Games Workshop. The reward for his sharp practice were two wickedly serrated daggers, which puppet his arrest rate but gutted the workforce. With a swift kick up the backside, he was out. Adrift in a harsh land, he became obsessed with the notion of small toxic creatures which can kill with the smallest bite, and travelled to far Lustria to study venomous creatures. So got kicked to the curb and then found poisons and was like, alright, this seems like a wonderful thing to work with. He returned with luggage illegally stuffed with poisonous animals and was swiftly employed by the Hobgoblin team, where he learned his new trade on the Blood Bowl pitch, skulking on the sidelines, nervously avoiding eye contact with the referee. Okie dokie, the Hobgoblin team. The Hobgoblin team is a team of Hobgoblins that is just like an infamous one. I think it's from first edition. They were like infamously the worst team in Blood Bowl. And now with the new Chaos Dwarf stuff and the fact you've got the two stab lads, you can kind of run a bit more of an interesting Hobgoblin team. You can still kind of run the Hobgoblin team, which is quite cool. And this guy used to play for the Hobgoblin team. Right, there's some cool artwork. We'll have a look at the model in a moment. As with all Hobgoblin endeavours, it didn't last long before treachery and infighting tore the team apart, but RASHNAK had once again made a name for himself and found easy work freelancing for other Chaos Dwarf teams. As a toxin connoisseur, that is his special power, he specialises in making sure the players he stabs stay down for good. So, Badlands Brawl teams can convince RASHNAK to stop eyeing them furtively while thumbing his blades for just 130k. He'll be available soon as an expert kit made from Forge World resin. Let's have a look at the Toxin Connoisseur special power, then let's go back and have a look at the model. So once per game, when RASHNAK successfully breaks armor as a result of a stab special action, you may apply an additional +1 modifier to the injury roll. This modifier may be played after the roll has been made. So he basically gets Mighty Blow once per game after you've broken armor, which is okay. You know what? I think just straight up stab with Mighty Blow would have been fun just once per game. But I mean, what that means is he's going to be able to break armor at some point. It's really difficult with stab star players. So RASHNAK is a stab star player. He's going to be basically a boosted version of the sneaky stabbers for the actual team, right? So he's going to be a Hobgoblin. He's probably going to have the same skills that we've seen them revealed with, which I think is shadowing and stab. Hobgoblin stats, typically movement 6. He might be boosted to movement 7 to help his shadowing, but he's not going to have block, wrestle. He might have dodge if we're lucky. So star players that have stab, it tends to be a bit of a free-rolled skill, like a secondary skill. So Skitter stab, I mean, it's in his name. He's a gutter runner. He's a star player gutter runner that can also stab sometimes. RASHNAK looks to be like a primary stab guy. If he comes with dodge, then actually you've got a bit of a support scoring threat at 130k. Having +1 to the injury roll once you've broken armor once per game, it's going to encourage you to stab, but it's going to work sometimes. The beautiful thing about stab is it's really good for targeting war dancers, gutter runners, players of that ilk that tend to have blodge. You know, blodge is a massive boon to survivability, but being able to roll straight through to armor is just so key. Stunty, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But I do know I like the model. So this is the model for RASHNAK. And right, first of all, great Hobgoblin sculpty goodness. I love the socks. So the socks, he's wearing Blood Bowl issue socks, like standard Blood Bowl socks, the same that you'll see on Scylla, which is wicked and such a cool little way to tie the models together. Right, so Hobgoblin model, he's got his 2 knives, one of them's serrated, I'm assuming the other one isn't. You've got the bit of the bit of goopy poison on the back that really smacks back to the old assassin models from Skaven in like Warhammer 4th and 5th edition, where you just have this globule of stuff that is a real joy to paint. So I love the socks, the pose is cool, the face is good. He just looks like a standard Hobgoblin. He's got his mask, he's got some metal eyebrows, which is kind of cool. You got the cloak bit. The model's beautifully done. I love the basing, the paint is wonderful, the armor's wonderful, so the model is really well done. He looks like a Hobgoblin assassin. What we might see, guys, is I don't know if everyone's going to be running stabbers all of the time. It depends on how expensive they are and whether you've got an extra bit of K left over. I think what we'll probably see when it comes to this star player is people just either converting one of the sneaky stabs from the box set, or just using one and being like, this is stabber. Especially if you've got the Chaos Dwarf team, because you can play for Badlands Brawl, so you've got Goblins, Black Orcs, all the teams I forgot about in the last star player video. You can just use a sneaky stabber to represent that. So if you don't want to go the Forge World route, as long as you are only using one stabber, you get 2 in the box set. Now, it depends on how expensive. If the stab linemen are like 10k more than a lineman and you've got that extra 10 quantity, I think it's going to be worthwhile chucking him in there, because you just get that extra choice. You just get the choice that sometimes your Hobgoblin Blitz, instead of just being a 1 die with no skills, is just a straight armor roll, which can be awesome when you are going up against an armor 7 or 8+ piece. So the stab is really good. It is not a primary strategy that I would ever recommend, except for those people who are like, I'm going to stab every turn, because that's fine in Blood Bowl. So yeah, okay, like the model, it's a brilliant model. 130k for Badlands Brawls. Guys, it depends on the skills. If he is just a Hobgoblin with this power, then it could be fun to take. I don't know if he's as good as like the Black Gobbo, but he's cheaper than the Black Gobbo. If he comes in at movement 7, or he's got dodge, or if he even has a combat skill like wrestle or block, then actually this guy could be really good. If he's a movement 6, edge 3+, no block, no dodge piece with just boosted stab, even 130, you're better off taking Nobbler with the chainsaw for what, 40k or whatever it is, or Fungus the Loon for 80k, just for the carnage. If, however, 130k he comes in and he's got dodge or something, or boosted movement, or boosted agility, then he will be a fantastic assist to this team. Whatever happens, they've done a great job bringing more models to life. I love the artwork, I love the model, and I really like where they're going with this team. They have not gone wild with this team. They have gone, right, let's do Chaos Dwarves right. So let's add a bit of spice with a flamethrower guy and some stabby lads, but let's keep the core team looking exactly as you would expect this. And this is something that I think is really impressive. When this team lands, I think it's going to look like the Chaos Dwarf team has always been here, because it fits so right with Blood Bowl. And this is another star player model that just like, yep, this fits really well. This fits really well, looks really good, paint job's really good, rules are interesting. We will have to see if he's got the other primary skills to see if he is worth it. But it's a fun star. It's a great model. So wicked. Really pleased to see that. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and we'll be back soon with more Blood Bowl content. Happy blocking. Thanks very much for watching. We really appreciate your support. If you want to support the channel even further, please like and subscribe. It really does help us out. Or come join us on YouTube Members or in Patreon, where you can get exclusive access to some content, some loot, early access to basically everything we do, as well as regular competitions. Or you can pick up some Bonehead Podcast loot either on our website at boneheadpodcast.com. We've got the Dungeon Bowl things, we've got tokens and stuff like that, or on our Spreadshirt site as well. Everything you do just helps us make more content and hopefully do it of better quality. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Happy blocking.